It is finally time. It is Tamale Day, and I don't know why it's taken me this long to make them. Tamales are delicious masa dough, usually with filling, wrapped in a corn husk and steamed until finished. They're beyond tasty. And shout out to my man Gustavo, who's been asking me persistently for 2 years to make them by simply writing tamales on every single one of my Facebook posts. Well, my friend, this one's for you. I hope my recipe lives up to the hype. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Sound good? Let's cook. We are going to start off by prepping up our husks, and I've got about 40 to 50 dried corn husks, which equal about 2/3 pound or 302 grams. You can absolutely pick these up from any Latin grocery store. What I like to do is remove them from the package one by one and place them in a large container. Next, cover them and submerge them completely in cold water and let them sit overnight or for at least 12 hours. Now, these are a lot like dried beans because the other option is to cover them in hot boiling water and let them sit for 1 hour. Either of these procedures will work. Now, Comies, before we actually get to the tamale dough, you have to pick out what filling you want to go on the inside. And for me, the filling just takes it to the next level, and the possibilities are endless. Cheese, beans, rice, salsa, you name it. Now, for me, my family loves tamales, but they're not huge fans of pork or beef, so I'm going to make something known as Rojos de Pollo, which is slow-cooked chicken in a zesty red sauce. So good. All right, let's get it. I've got a 4.5 pound or 2,041 gram whole chicken that I've broken down into parts: breast, thighs, drums, and wings. Now, to see me do this completely, check out my arroz con pollo video. I show you how easy it is to fabricate it. After it's broken down, it equals about 3 pounds or 1,360 grams. Remember that carcass? Save it later for stock, put it in the freezer. Now what I'm going to do is generously season both sides of the chicken with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Then I'm taking it right over to my cooktop where I have a very large rondeau pot. Next, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of olive oil. Crank the heat up to high. We want to get this to a smoking point. Once it is rolling smoke, we're going to add the chicken skin side down. Try not to crowd the pan. We want to sear it, not steam it. Once all the chicken is in there, immediately turn down the heat to medium high. We're only going to be cooking this for about 3 to 4 minutes per side. We want to get a beautiful golden brown, but we don't necessarily need to cook it through at this stage. Once they are completely brown, let's remove them from the pan and set them to the side on a plate. In that same pan, I'm going to add in 1 peeled and thinly sliced yellow onion. You could use a white or a sweet onion as well. Turn the heat down to medium. It's pretty hot in there. We're going to saute this for about 4 to 5 minutes. Get a nice golden brown on them just like this. Then what I'm going to do is add in about 6 garlic cloves. If you want to add a little bit more because you love garlic, no problem. We're going to saute these just until fragrant, which takes about 30 to 45 seconds. Then I'm going to add in 2 bay leaves. Now I have 10 cups or 2.36 liters of good chicken stock. You could also use water or veg stock. Season this up well with salt and pepper. This is our braising liquid for the chicken. So as I always say, try it out. Put a spoon in there. Does it need a little bit more salt and pepper? You be the judge. At this stage, add our chicken right back into that liquid. Make sure it is submerged. Then we're going to add a lid on it and cook it over medium heat for about 1 hour. With about 15 minutes left in the cooking process, we are going to come back and start prepping up a few other things. I'm going to start off with some ancho chilies. These are not very spicy at all, but to ensure a lot of the spice is removed, I'm going to take out the pith, which is where all the spice is, and the seeds, which the pith will bleed over into those seeds, so they've got some heat too. Next, I have 2 guajillo chilies. Same exact thing, removing the pith and the seeds. Set them to the side. Now, if you love spice, add in 1, 2, or 3 chiles de árbol. For me, I can't handle it. I'm not doing it. Next, I have 1 yellow onion, which I'm going to peel and roughly chop. You could use a white or a sweet onion. Then I've got 5 Roma tomatoes, which I'm going to remove the stem and then just slice them in half. These are a great tomato to use all year round. Add that to a bowl. Take those, the chilies and the onions, back over to our cooktop. Let's see how our chicken is doing. It is tender. It is fall off the bone. Excellent. What we're going to do is take the chicken out, set it to the side on a plate. Now, for the stock that's left over, that's good stuff. We are going to drain it through a chinois completely, but there's still going to be a few things in there. Let's remove the bay leaves, but that garlic and onion, there's a lot of flavor in there. Add that right to the chicken and set it aside to cool just for the time being. When I make a classical recipe, I do a ton of research, especially if I've only made it a few times, and I try to figure out ways that I can make it taste better through techniques. Now, the ingredients will always speak for themselves, but how do I make these humble ingredients taste even better? For me, it comes in roasting and caramelizing. When you do those things, the flavors will enhance and will always take it to the next level. Here is what we're gonna do. Adding that rondeau pot right back to the burner, going to add in 3 tablespoons or 45 grams of olive oil. Again, on high heat. Once it starts to smoke, we're going to add in that onion we roughly chopped, and I'm going to cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes. It's going to get brown really quick. Then I'm going to add in 10 garlic cloves. We're going to saute this just until fragrant. Then I've got 1 teaspoon or 2 grams of cumin seeds. Then what I'm going to do is add in the tomatoes and chilies. Now we just want to saute these for a couple of minutes, 1, 2, 3 minutes, nothing more than that. Once they get a little bit blister on the peeling of the tomato like this, I know I'm good to go. Now we're going to add in 4 cups or 946 milliliters of that chicken stock that we strained. I'm going to cook this over low to medium heat for about 15 minutes. We want the chilies to soften up, but guess what? This is great time because let's grab that chicken. It's had some time to cool. What we want to do is remove the skin, take the bones out, and shred it. You can do this by using your hands or a couple of forks. Think smoked pulled chicken, same exact process. All right, this looks excellent. Remember the onions and garlic are in there as well. Let's go back over, check out our tomatoes and chilies. They look excellent. The chilies are nice and soft. What we're going to do is take this over to a blender, pour all that goodness in there, then put the top of the blender on. And I always say this when you got hot liquid in there, remove that center piece so it doesn't explode when you turn it on. What I do is usually just put a kitchen towel over top. I'm going to start on low speed and then crank it up to high. I want to make sure this is completely smooth. Make sure that cumin is nice and smooth and blended in there. This looks perfect. Going back over to our rondeau pot, pour that in there. Then I'm going to add a little water to the blender and just swoosh it around and add it in there. There's a lot of goodness, flavor still left in that blender container. Now, adjust the seasonings, but first taste it. Season once, taste twice. Does it need more salt and pepper? You be the judge. Add our shredded chicken in there. Mix it until combined. Nothing more than that. Then we're going to set it to the side to briefly cool at room temperature. Tamales are the epitome of Mexican comfort food, and they date back thousands of years to ancient civilizations living in Mexico. And as I've already stated, there are a myriad of different fillings you can put in them. However, my guess is, like other cuisines, when they were first being created, it was probably dependent on what ingredients are available and how do I make this taste delicious. Now, if you look for tamales online, you're going to see an assortment of ingredients and procedures for the exact same thing. That's why the best food, no matter the background, is always classical comfort food recipes. All right, let's make this tamale dough. All right, I have 2 cups or 410 grams of pork lard. Another substitute would be regular vegetable shortening, and you can even cut some of that vegetable shortening with some unsalted butter. Add on the whisk attachment to that stand mixer and whip on high speed for about 5 to 7 minutes or until light and fluffy, just like this. Turn it off, then add in 6 cups or 744 grams of masa harina. This is finely ground. This is where all the flavor comes from, my friends. Then 1 tablespoon or 14 grams of baking powder. Then 1 teaspoon or 5 grams of coarse salt. Next, we're going to slowly start to add in 1 cup or 236 milliliters at a time of that warm chicken stock that's left over that we strained. We want to mix it in slowly, so I'm going to adjust it from high speed back down to low speed and continually adding in that stock until it is completely combined. Now, when it's finished adding in there, it's going to be a nice, soft, slightly sticky dough. Now, the best analogy I've seen is that it's kind of like peanut butter. This is pretty close. Also, be sure to taste this. Does it need a little bit more salt? Again, you be the judge. What we're going to do once our tamale dough is mixed is quickly set it to the side. Now, some of the tamales that I've ever eaten, they're sometimes dry and bland. Nothing worse than an under-seasoned tamale. So absolutely try the dough. There's nothing in that raw batter that's going to kill you. Stick a spoon in there, Try it, make sure it's seasoned. Does it need a little bit more salt? You be the judge. All right, let me show you how we stuff these up. Let's grab our corn husks. What we want to do is strain these because they've been soaking for quite a while. So just right in a strainer. I like to sometimes squeeze them a little bit, get a little bit more of that liquid out of there, and just briefly dry them. Nothing crazy. It's totally fine if there's still some moisture on there. Now this is completely cosmetic, but see how that's not a flat line at the bottom? I don't know. Just take some kitchen shears and flatten it out. Make a nice clean line. That's just me. You know, I'm a little bit anal when it comes to cooking. Now to stuff these up, we're going to take about a half cup or 70 grams of the masa dough, spread it right in the center to make a 6 by 6 inch or a 15 by 15 centimeter square, leaving about an inch at the top and plenty of room at the bottom of the husk. Be generous with that masa dough. Next, we're going to add in some of that chicken filling and then push the husk together, making a nice little fold in the center until it touches. You'll get about 35 to 40 tamales out of these, and you should have plenty of that chicken filling left over for tacos and burritos. All right, fold it over and then fold up the bottom. Now, this is completely optional, but tear a little piece off from another husk and then wrap it around after you fold up that bottom part. Tie a little knot. It makes it look pretty. It's not necessary. Just repeat the process until everything is stuffed up. This is going to take some time. We're going to take them and place them in a large steamer basket. You can stack them up or place them in vertically like I've done here. Then top off with a damp kitchen towel. Next, we're going right into our pot. It's got about an inch of water at the bottom over medium-high heat. Put a lid on. It's going to take in between an hour to an hour and 15 minutes for our tamales to be completely steamed and cooked. These look awesome. The smell on these, oh my goodness. We are going to briefly take them out and set them to the side to slightly cool for maybe just 2 to 3 minutes. Yes, these are a time labor of love, but I promise you they are so worth it. Take a break for a Saturday, call up the family, call up friends, make a day of it, just like my Aunt Pam on her ravioli day. I promise you, you don't want to get to the end of this life and think, yeah, I sure did spend a lot of time looking and scrolling through the phone for a bunch of useless information. No, this food, this process is meant to be enjoyed with others. So I implore you, get out and do these with family and friends. You will not regret it. All right. Let's open one of these up, try them out. All right, I'm just grabbing a random tamale here. Just going to take off that little tie and open it up. And oh, I mean, this isn't even the prettiest one. I just grabbed the first one. Looks so good. They're tender, they're moist. You're going to love these. Thanks again to my friend Gustavo. Had so much fun making these, and I think you and your family will too. Definitely give them a shot. So much flavor. If you love these, definitely check out my mole verde with chicken. Oh, the flavors in there, incredible. Got a great recipe video. I'll see you on there.